Hi, I'm Barbara Bruni, and this is Pilates Core Training. Today we're going to go through some basic Pilates moves, starting for the beginners who would like to have some of the basic principles before they apply them into the exercises. We're going to go through the exercises today with the thought of staying within the principles of the Pilates movement. The three that I really want to concentrate on today are breathing, alignment, precision. And in order to do the Pilates work correctly, all three of those must be addressed. We're going to start with the breathing, of course, and then apply that breathing into the exercises, working within the precision of each exact move with control. So let's start with the breathing today, and we'll start by sitting up. We'll just hold on to our shins and stay in a nice rounded spine, being aware that rounded doesn't mean collapse. It still means keeping a nice long spine. So we're going to work within that thought today to stay in control with the longest possible spine. So take a nice deep breath and think about just relaxing your shoulders and your neck, and then exhale. Just be aware of where the breath is moving in your body. Does it make your shoulders rise and fall, or does it make your belly move in and out, or rather does it expand the rib cage? So just being aware of that on this next breath and fully exhaling. So what I'd like for you to concentrate on this next breath is to not allow your shoulders to move up and down or your belly to pop out as you inhale. So keep pulling your belly in and keep your shoulders just gently, ever so slightly moving down your back. So as you inhale, you'll feel an expanse of the rib cage. And exhale, likewise, a compression of the rib cage. So as your rib cage expands, visualize it expanding wide in the back, fanning open in the back, and then compressing like your right and your left rib cages are moving in towards each other. So let's do that one more time with that focus. Belly is in. Inhale, relaxing your shoulders. Ribs expand. And exhale, belly pulls in just a bit more and allow the ribs to move back and down. So now let's sit up tall. Again, the longest possible spine. It's as if you have you're a marionette puppet and you have a string attached to the back of your head, and that reaches you up towards the ceiling. Let's lean back and find our abdominals first. So within this lean back, you want to still maintain your length, and now feel like you've got a lot of space between your hips and your lowest rib, and then allow your abs to imprint into that space, rounding your back. It's as if you're pulling your hip bones up towards your ribs and your ribs down towards your hips, still without collapsing. So your breastbone is up and you're imprinting. You should feel your abs a lot here. So lean back just a little bit more and inhale deeply. Your belly's in, the ribs expand. To challenge that, you can take your arms overhead and then inhale, bring them back down. So if by taking your arms overhead, you go into your back, then keep your arms low and just hold and breathe. Otherwise, continue on. If it's going into your back, still come up a little higher and round your low back a little bit more. Let's do two more. Every time you exhale, feel like you're drawing your belly button in towards your back. And last one, exhale up and inhale, and then exhale, roll it all the way up. Very good. So working within that precision of movement and within the control. So let's extend your legs all the way out and sit up tall. So again, when you're sitting up, you want to be able to be in a nice long spine. If you're back here, then bend your knees and get your back to be as if it's up against the wall. So now let's look at twisting the spine. Let's put our hands in front of our body here, like an I Dream of Jeannie pose. Imagine your wristband is right in line with your breastbone. And as you twist, you want to keep the wrist right in front of the breastbone so it doesn't become this big shoulder movement. And then bring it back. Let's go to the other side. Inhale as you twist. And exhale as you come back to center. Inhale, lifting tall, breastbone and wrist in line with each other. And let's do 3 more. Still reaching the back of your head up towards the ceiling. Watch that when you twist, there's no leaning away. And last 2, inhaling and exhaling. And last 1, inhale to twist and exhale to center. Let's extend our legs out now and go into just about a shoulder width alignment with your feet. Certainly, again, feel like you can bend your knees in order to get this nice straight line, ear over shoulder, shoulder over hip, rather than having any type of curvature in the spine. So with your hands on the floor between your thighs, inhale. Exhale, nod your chin. Slide your breastbone down the abdominal wall, engage those abdominals, and reach forward. Hold this stretch, spine stretch position. Your belly is in. You're reaching more with your head and your feet rather than reaching with your arms, causing stress in the neck and shoulders. Keep your shoulders back and down. Inhale here, and exhale, restack your spine bone by bone. Inhale within that height. Exhale, melt down off of the invisible wall behind you. Arms just flow forward with the shoulders. Keep your belly button in, and as you inhale, you'll feel that nice expanse of the rib cage opening in the back and to the sides. And then as you exhale, feel like you're zipping up from your pubic bone to your breastbone. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale to fold forward into your spine stretch. Inhale, keeping that control, shoulders wide. And exhale, come back up. Concentrating on all of the moves here. And last one, inhale and exhale. So in your spine stretch, it's not just a folding in the hips. You're truly trying to stretch the spine. So imagine you have a hot basketball on your lap and you're scooping your belly up and over it so you don't touch it. It's that kind of a feel where you're transferring the stretch into your back. Inhale 1 more time. And exhale, take it up. So now let's bring our feet together and we're going to roll down all the way to our backs. So get that nice length and take a deep breath. Exhale and lengthen down bone by bone. Keep drawing your abs in and release it down. All right, so let's talk about the positioning of our spine in what's called a neutral spine position. First, let's start with our legs straight and our toes slightly pointed, and really feel like you are pressing the back of your knees into the mat without hyperextending them. Then bring your arms up and press your ribs down into the mat and draw your belly in. You don't want to press so hard that the neck becomes hyperextended and the chin jots up. Your shoulders are back. You're slightly nodding your chin. And then connect the ribs, and that should be enough of an imprint of the ribs. Inhale here. Exhale, reach your arms overhead and hold. You don't necessarily need to touch the floor if that's going to make you arch your spine and have your ribs come off the mat. So you want to only take your arms back as far as you can keep your knees straight, your ribs touching the mat, and your shoulders touching your mat, and your chin down. And this would be roughly an ideal posture. Easy to find while you're lying down, not so easy to find in other positions like standing. All right, so from here, let's do a few of those roll-ups. Let's inhale and lift your arms and your head. Then exhale, slide your ribs down and roll all the way up. Inhale through this stretch. We'll call it a C curve, back to what we were doing a minute ago with that hot basketball on our laps. Inhale. And then exhale, lengthen down. Shoulders pulling down out of the ears. Let your hips touch your low back, your first rib, and then your shoulder blades. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Find that ideal alignment. Use your control, ribs down, belly in. Inhale, lift your arms and your head. Exhale, keep your belly in, slide your ribs down. Watch that this doesn't happen. Keep those shoulders back and down. Inhale, reaching your head and your feet towards the wall in front, pulling your belly button in, reaching to the wall in back. Inhale, and exhale, lengthen down. Think about just lengthening the spine one vertebra at a time down. And again, inhale and exhale. Find your posture. Inhale to lift. Exhale to roll it up. Belly staying in, knees pressing down into the mat. If your knees and feet come up, it just means that we're not quite using enough abdominals. And we're using a lot of what's called our hip flexor group, the muscle that crosses the thigh and the hips. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, exhale. If it really is difficult, just come up as high as you can and lower back down. Otherwise, take it up the rest of the way. Inhale through the C curve. Ribs expand wide in the back. Easy wide shoulders, and exhale, lengthen down, pulling your shoulders out of your ears, keeping your belly in, and rest. So as we were talking about earlier in your ideal posture, find that with your legs straight. It's easy to find this little space under your small of your back, your normal lumbar curve. Not so easy to find when we bend our knees and go into this particular what we'll call tabletop alignment. So when you bring your legs up, it's really easy to have the tendency to just press that lumbar spine down. And rather, you want to be resting on the back of your pelvis, which is your sacrum, and still keep that little space between your low back and the mat. So now we're going to do a little bit of lumbar stabilizing, thigh-hip dissociation. So as you exhale now, you're going to reach one leg down at a time, without allowing the hips to move. So that's easier said than done. So these can be pretty challenging exercises. So the idea here is to add the breathing to the movement. So inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, lower your left leg towards the floor. And inhale up. And exhale. When you exhale, you have more engagement of your abdominals. And inhale up. So exhale, tendency would be, if you let go of your abs, to increase that curve and let the ribs flare. Inhale up. Exhale. The other tendency is to not use your back muscles, and when you bring your legs up, just collapse into the back. So let's do this 5 more times. Exhale, ribs down, belly button in. Inhale up. And exhale, 4, and up. So you are only going to take your foot as far as you can without letting that low back pop up off the mat. And last 2, or if you feel any pain in the back, certainly decrease your range of motion. And last 1. And hold here, and bring your legs down. So now we're going to move the spine a little bit into what's called an anterior pelvic tilt or a back arch. Going into this big arch uses your back muscles and stretches your abs. Really work to move the hips as if your pelvis was a bowl of water and you're spilling it towards your feet rather than just popping your rib cage. Now to come out of this, just slide your ribs down and now press your lumbar spine or your low back down into the mat to get rid of that space. We'll call that an imprint. So let's look at that one more time, and we'll talk about how to efficiently move into that posterior tilt from this back arch. So here's your anterior tilt. To sequence through the spine, bring your breastbone down first, and then your ribs down. And then feel like you're drawing your hip bones up towards your ribs, rather than just tucking the tailbone under and using only these hip flexors. So let's do that one more time, because here's where the control and the concentration comes in. So inhale and go into your big anterior tilt. Now resist the urge to tuck the pelvis and bring the sternum down, and then the ribs. And then draw your belly button in and up and feel like you're pulling your hip bones up. And try to get your lumbar spine to imprint with just using these abdominals, knitting the hips to the pelvis. Now hold this imprint and bring your legs up to tabletop. Put your hands in front of your thighs and lift your head, neck, and shoulder blades. Really imprint even harder this time. Pull your belly button in towards the mat and feel a lot of abdominal work going on right here. So from here, let's transfer your hands behind your thighs without letting go of those abs. Press your thighs, actively press your thighs into your hands, and that should roll you up. Inhale and exhale, lengthen down, bone by bone, rolling right through that imprinted spine. So let's stay up this time, and we'll do a few more of those roll-up preps. Hands in front of your thighs, go into that deep imprint, and you know when you find it. And then take your hands behind your thighs. On your next exhale, so you can keep your abs working, press your thighs into your hands. Hold here, inhale. And exhale, lengthen down, keeping the spine from collapsing. Keep the length, bone by bone, all the way down. And let's do this one more time. Inhale. This time we'll roll right through that imprint. Lift your head, neck, shoulders, roll through that imprint. Inhale at the top, and exhale to lengthen down. So let's stay down, and we'll do a little twist of the spine for a stretch. Cross your right leg over your left. Your arms will go wide to the side, and take your knees to the right. And as you go into this stretch, I want you to feel like you're wringing out a towel. When you wring out a towel, you twist one end one direction and the other end in the opposing direction. So when you twist, you have to get that same feel. So since you're twisting your thighs and your pelvis to your right, actively twist your shoulder girdle to your left. And then you know that you're getting a very efficient twist through the trunk and through the spine. Take a nice deep breath here. And as you exhale, use the muscles around your rib cage or obliques to bring the weight of your legs back up. And let's go to the other side. Left is on top, and your knees go to the left. And hold that stretch. Soften your breastbone a bit. And actively counter twist. Thighs and pelvis to your left, and shoulder girdle to your right. Take a nice deep breath. And exhale, wrap your ribs to bring it up. All right, so now we're going to move on into a different position. Let's roll to the side and go on to an all fours alignment. In an all fours alignment, you're going to start out in neutral spine. However, when you're in this all fours, it's a lot of upper body weight bearing. So now you're going to be asking the shoulder stabilizers and some arm muscles to help work. So when you're in this position, as in a crawl position, think of this as an early or a push-up prep. Watch for sinking into the shoulders or allowing the shoulders to move up towards the ears. Rather, you want to feel like you're pulling your shoulder blades down your back and pulling your collarbones wide. So watch as well for an excessive round spine. We tend to overuse our chest muscles. Let's think about sharing the back and the chest muscles together. Hands directly under your shoulders. Now you want your pelvis to be in a neutral place rather than, as we just went over, the posterior or the anterior. So keep it level. Ribs are wrapped. You're going to have just a very small lumbar curve here. So it's not flat and it's not a big dip. Feel like you're squeezing your armpits down just a little bit. Press the back of your head up towards the ceiling. Now that you have that nice position, challenge it by lifting your knees up off of the mat just an inch or so, transferring that weight into your shoulder stabilizers. Keep your belly in, Keep your ribs wrapped. Keep pressing your back of your head up towards the ceiling. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And lengthen down. So a good fun cue is to just keep a stick on your back and make sure that it can touch your head between your shoulder blades and your sacrum, like a long broomstick. All right, so let's try that one more time. So engage those underneath your armpit muscles, your lats. Pull your shoulders wide, pull your belly in, wrap your ribs, and exhale and lift. Keep the same alignment going. If you stop thinking about it, you usually will start to collapse into your joints. And lower down. So we can put that into a bit of a plank. We'll move up towards the top edge of your mat so that your feet and your hands fit. So getting into your positioning, toes tucked under, back of your head pressing up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, take your right leg back. Engage your hamstrings and your belly. Kind of give a little squeeze to your glutes. Then take your left leg back and hold. Keep drawing your belly button in and up. Keep funneling your ribs, pulling your shoulders wide. Keep pressing the back of your head up. Watch that this doesn't happen here, either dropping the back or winging those shoulder blades. Hold 5, hold 4, 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. All right, let's go all the way down onto your belly. And we're going to talk about the difference between back extension and hip extension. Hip extension is moving your thigh bone back in your hip socket without going into excessive lumbar compression. So you don't want to feel these exercises in the small of your back. So the best way to find that would be to, again, get your pelvis in its neutral place. So we found it lying flat on your back. We'll find it lying face down. Draw your belly button up off of the mat and reach long out your legs. And you'll feel your hip bones and your pubic bone on the mat and your belly lifted. From there, you're going to reach long out your right leg without letting the lumbar spine go into compression. And release down. So exhale, belly in, and lift your left leg. It's as if you are tail tucking, trying to aim your tailbone down between your thighs towards the mat. And release. And again, exhale, right leg lengthens to lift. And release. You'll feel both hip bones staying against the mat. Exhale, lengthen to lift. Watch for rolling off to one side as well. All right, let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Reach long and lift. And inhale, release. And last time on the left, exhale, belly in, and reach long. And release. So let's put both legs together and try that. If it goes too much into your back, then continue to do one leg at a time. So inhale. Exhale, reach your legs long, pull your belly in. And on your inhale, lift your legs. And inhale, release. 3 more. Exhale, lengthen to lift. And release. And exhale for 2. And release. And last one. And release. So now going into the back extension, let's put your hands just by your shoulders. Legs can be separated apart to comfort of your low back. Get your pelvis back into its neutral place. Then on your inhale, feel as though you're lengthening your head away from the tops of your shoulders and just come up to where your lowest rib is still making contact to the mat. And then release down. So exhale, legs in place. Inhale, shoulders up. Lengthen your head away from the tops of your shoulders. And hold. Reach longer out your legs. Pull your belly button in off the mat. Your goal is to feel this in the back of your rib cage. Watch for pressing your chin forward and over compressing your neck. Keep your neck in line with your upper back. And lower down. Exhale, legs long, belly in, shoulders back. Inhale, lengthen your head away from the tops of your shoulders, almost like a slinky. Yep, pulling that slinky back, vertebra by vertebra. Exhale, reach long out your legs, pull your belly in. Now watch those shoulders, keep your shoulders active, and start to straighten your arms. Only go as far as you can keep the rib cage in extension. Reach long out your legs. It transfers into a hip extension at the top rather than sinking into the lumbar spine. And lower down. So let's do 2 more like that. Exhale first, pelvis in place, belly and legs long. Inhale, shoulders back. And then lifting up, head away from your shoulders. Feel it in the back of the rib cage. Exhale to come up, reaching long. Keep the space between the ribs and the tops of the pelvis. Keep the shoulders open. Only go up as high as you can keep comfort in your lumbar spine. And last one. Exhale and inhale. Exhale to go up. And inhale to bring it down. And from here, push back and sit back on your heels and stretch out your back. And take it up. So those were quite a few of the movement principles within the Pilates exercise series. We look forward to having you join us again on Pilates Core Training.